what is required now is that the alternative party, the alternative now in opposition, cannot insist that the only way it's going to win an election in this country is by thinking that people just get the message that the APC is not doing well. They've not been doing well since Buhari. He spent the better part of his first time in the hospital, and yet they were still able to cheat their way into 2019. They are not doing very well. They left out more than maybe 48 or 49% of the Christian population in the country by not balancing their ticket, taking a Muslim, and yet they won. There is a reason why that is so. And if you tell me you were being rigged, why is it that at the point of your rigging, there was not a single reaction to show resistance? Why is it that there was no reaction to show resistance in some of the areas where you would have expected? You see, you need to get it straight. Politics and election are not as unpredictable as people think. They are residual decision-making events. That's what they're called in science.
So you imagine that Atiku could be defeated?
You mean
you could predict before the election?
Atiku could
Did you see no. Did you see that there's a possibility that Tinubu could defeat Atiku before the election?
You know, Sheon, I wish you would go back to some of the interviews I've had and you would have seen how I was very clear that, look, there was a phrase I used to use on the inside. I used to say to my people, I cannot find the science to back the enthusiasm because it's not there. Sheon, the problem I have is that I can advise them. I can suggest. I can champion their cause. I can wear their jersey. I can stand in the train, in front of the train for them. But there are certain reform actions that needs to take place that you cannot force them to do it unless you're sitting on the chair. And let me be clear. I lose nothing if I'm not their chairman. Look, the country has become so tribal. The chances that if I want to be governor or want to be senator or want to be House of Rep, the chances that I better go to where my Yoruba brothers are is very high. That I am still rushing to say that, look, let's repair it. I'm not repairing it so that we can win or lose. I'm repairing it so that we can have a balanced democracy. Let me shock you. In 2015, after they had won, one of the first interviews I had with now former Minister of Information, Lai Mohammed, in your station, in Channels TV, was that after we finished, he said, Segun, come to this party. Come to this party. This party was made for men like you. I said, I know. But my fear is that if I depopulate the PDP of even the little I contribute, who am I going to leave the work for? It is very altruistic to stand where I'm standing, how I am standing. People who know me and who have known my journey and my story will tell you that it's not as easy as that. And it's not because any one person represents the totality of the future hope I'm talking about. No. Anybody that wants to be president of Nigeria under the stable of the PDP has to get one thing straight. We need to look at the numbers. We need to make sure that the party, which is like a train to me, has the head coach packed, and the head coach must be able to draw that. Do you know how closely we were to being beaten by obedience? I even sometimes tell myself that, if the people of that particular ethnic group had not been gaslighted and have not been bullied in certain locations, perhaps they even probably beat us in that last outing. Maybe we were cheated in some area, but ours was a whisper.
But you saw it coming.
Oh, yes.
That Atiku could lose.
I saw it coming. Go and take the clip of my interview with Yori Folarin. I had that interview on TVC. He invited me one day to come and have an interview, and I said, okay, I'll come. Shehu, let me tell you what. I do not have a bone of deceit when I'm talking in me. Better not to ask me a question if you don't want an answer. But if you do ask me the question, whether it's on air in private, I'll tell you the answer as I see it. You know why? Because I'm brave like that.
So you saw that there's a possibility that Atiku could lose.
Not only did I see that we were going to lose, or the chance of our losing was very high, I also saw 5 minutes after we lost that election, that it's going to be a tall order to do what we wanted to do, even with the courts. It didn't mean that I will not defend the party.
So were there people deceiving Atiku Abubakar?
No, don't use the word deceiving. You see, one of the problems I have with this narrative style that is employed in this country, rather than blame APC and Bola Tinubu, you single out Bola Tinubu, the president. Rather than blame APC and Muhammadu Buhari, you single out Muhammadu Buhari. Rather than blame the country itself and the citizens who have shortchanged themselves by their decision or indecision in 2023, you want to hold Atiku responsible. What's Atiku supposed to do more than make himself available, go to campaigns according to the design of those who were designing whatever they were designing, and make himself, respectable, dignified, to be able to be in the space? Do you know what it takes to lose an election and to get up the next day in the morning I don't expect people that are in the country who are now living a life that is less than the quality that they even had hoped. I don't expect them to be saying, Atiku this, Atiku that. Atiku is somebody that you all need to be clapping for because most people can't even walk in his shoes.
So you see him as a hero?
I see him as someone who is scarred a lot by the contribution to help us have a democratic stability in this country. And if that is what you define as a hero, then I think that, like I always say, the praise is not for the man who sits on a chair and is criticizing or doesn't do anything. It's for the man who dirties himself and first off get up again, falls down, gets up again, falls down, gets up again. Do you even imagine for a second that if there was no an article, maybe you would not even have a June 12? Have you thought for a second that if there was no article, you wouldn't even have an economic council that says the vice president is the chairman? Have you thought for a second that even if people like Atiku were not there, you may not even have an alternative political party? Can you imagine if rabble rousers were the ones who were in charge, who were prone to violence or putting people on the street to be doing iskanchi and all of those things that can just make the whole country ugly?